Hello there. So you have been practicing yoga for a while. You go to different yoga classes. You're pretty familiar with the poses and how they should feel in your body. And you're wondering how to make a home yoga practice. How can you put together poses and breathing so that you can practice at home without a teacher or without watching a video? Awesome. That's a really beautiful place to be at. What we're going to walk through is the Vinyasa Krama. There we go. So this is a sequencing that you can do to have a very healthy and supportive practice for your body, for your mind, and for your spirit. This comes from, well, I learned it from my yoga teacher training at Vinyasa, and it was referenced that it was learned before from Rod Stryker, so I'll find out who the original Vinyasa Krama creator was, and I'll include a note for that. The Vinyasa Krama really takes into consideration that there are 6 different movements of our spine. We have forward bends, we have twists, we have back bends, we have laterals, extensions, inversions. I think that's it. And this way, we can very mindfully move throughout our yoga poses. For example, let's say you had a paperclip and you bent it forward, then you bent it backward, and you bent it forward, and then you bent it backward. Eventually, after enough times of bending it forward and backward, it's going to snap. It's going to break in half. Think of your spine as being that delicate. If you're continually going from forward bends to back bends to forward bends to back bends, that really wears on your spine. So for example, with the Vinyasa Krama, anytime that you are doing back bends, you're going to twist afterward to lengthen out your spine again before you move into a forward fold. So it's a very considerate way for you to treat your body while exploring different yoga. So the first step in creating your own class is to have a theme. Number 1, theme. And this is important because you need to check in with yourself. Why do I want to practice yoga right now? Do I want to energize myself? Do I need to find a sense of balance? Do I want to calm myself? And then go from there. It'll be very intentional for you choosing the poses that you're going to do. Number 2, so what you do once you are getting started, you will bear your theme in mind, and then you will allow yourself to center. So number 2 is centering. You can do that by repeating a mantra. You can do that by connecting with a pranayama practice, a breathing practice, or you can just spend a few moments in silence, beginning to connect within, connect with yourself, and tune out distractions. So do that right away at the very beginning. Don't wait till the end to feel as though you can reach connection. Connect right from the beginning. Number 3 is warm-up poses. So think of those gentle movements that you do at the beginning, such as head and neck rotations, gentle movements with your arms, slight twists, cat and cows, chakravakasana, those types of things where you are beginning to invite some movement, smaller movement, and it's following your breath. After your warm-ups, move to a sun salute. So it doesn't have to be written out sun salute A, sun salute B, or a practice that's already established. For example, I like to sometimes just include a kind of forward fold salute. So I'm not sure you can see all of me here. And you can make your own salutes. You can really adapt it for your own practice. So I like to inhale, raise my arms up, exhale, fold forward, inhale up about halfway, exhale, fold forward, inhale back up to stand, exhale my arms by my sides. So simple as that, just connecting your breath and your movement so that you're beginning to engage, to connect, and bring some warmth and some energy to the practice. It gets you ready to do what's next is your standing poses. So number 5 is standing. So this is any variety of the warrior poses. You can move from warrior 1 to warrior 2 to warrior 3 on one side and then do it on the other. Have a variety of asymmetrical poses and symmetrical poses. So an asymmetrical pose would be any of those warrior poses because you have 1 foot back, 1 foot forward, 1 foot lifted, 1 foot on the ground, or your arms are doing different things. So an example of a symmetrical pose would be a Tadasana or a mountain pose, or upward salute, an Urdhva Hastasana, or a forward fold, something where you are symmetrical. Both sides of your body are doing the same thing. You can feel balanced, you can feel grounded. If you are adding in, so I mentioned that you could do like warrior 1, 2, 3 on one side and then do warrior 1, 2, 3 on the other side. That's just an option. You can flow through however feels fun for you as you're exploring and learning your sequencing. Maybe you do warrior 1 on your left side, then do warrior 1 on your right side. You don't have to go through any certain way. It's really a great way to explore and making sure that you're having a balance of those asymmetrical poses and your symmetrical poses. So after your standing poses, here's where you have the opportunity to incorporate inversions or arm balances. If you want to play around with arm balances, this would be the point in your practice to do that. So number 6, inversions or arm balances. An example of an arm balance could be a down dog, could be a plank. It doesn't have to be something where you're balancing all your weight only on your arms, like a handstand or a grasshopper, things like that. And then inversions, a long forward fold. You don't have to have any pressure on your wrists at all. You can just take a nice long forward fold. You can do a down dog. You could do a headstand, any of those kinds of inversion poses. After you've done inversions or arm balances, then you move to back bends, seated back bends. So this is like your cobra pose, a locust pose. Here we are, seated back bends, number 7. Or a camel pose if you like camel pose, bridge pose, set to bandasana, those types of things. And with back bends, it's very important that you are, as my teacher says, you ratchet into them, or you have some dynamic movements right away. So you start your back bend following your breath before you hold. So you go into it and out of it a few times, and then you can hold, breathing while holding your full pose. After your back bends, like I mentioned earlier, we don't want to be bending our spine forward and back, forward and back. So after your back bends, you'll go into twists. And twists can be simple seated twists, lying on your back, revolving your knees one way or the other, those types of movements to support your spine, allowing it to lengthen out after bending backward. Then after you do your twists was number 8, you move to seated forward folds, number 9. That can be simply folding over your legs out wide to the side, toward one leg, then the other. Can do a butterfly pose and fold over your legs, or even a boat pose is a version of a forward fold. So you can incorporate some abs at the end of your yoga practice if you want to build some abdominal strength and also have that calming forward fold energy. I know it doesn't feel calming if you're doing a sit-up type work, but the way that your chest is coming toward your upper legs tells your mind and tells your body, okay, we're beginning to slow down now. After your seated forward folds, you'll move to some cool down movements. So maybe you do similar movements to what you did at the beginning for your warm-ups. Maybe you invite some different ones. Apanasana, knees to chest. I like to do all the time at the end, just lying flat on your back, bringing one knee in, sending it back, bring the other knee in, and then bring both knees in. I think that's a really gentle way to tell your body that, okay, I'm slowing down now. I am going to be relaxing into Shavasana. Here's where you can rock side to side, do a happy baby, things like that. And then after those cool downs, you move to Shavasana. I love to be super comfortable. Put on a comfy sweater or socks, cover up in a blanket. I use my eye pillow, and then just relax. You can do different techniques in your Shavasana, such as creating and releasing tension, or watching your breath rise and fall, things like that. And then allow yourself a few minutes of simply resting and relaxing in your Shavasana. Then some classes and some yoga teachers just end class there. I like to take all that energy that you have created during your practice to move into a meditation. Like, use that energy to benefit your body even further after your Shavasana. So once you're done with your Shavasana, slowly bring back some movement to your body, gently sit up, and then move to number 12, breathing, a pranayama practice, followed by 13, meditation. So I could do alternate nostril breathing for a little while and then focus on my breath rising and falling for my meditation. Or I could do a 1 to 2 breath and then focus on a still, calm lake with no ripples. Anything that you want to explore in terms of a breathing practice and a meditation practice fits so wonderfully at the end, now that you've really built and cultivated that wonderful energy throughout your very mindful and intentional yoga sequence. So this is the Vinyasa Krama, all the way through 1 through 13, a really great way to have a full, robust class, being mindful of your movements and your spine. You don't have to always do a 45, 60, 75 minute yoga practice. I know sometimes we just try to sneak it in 10 or 20 minutes, which is totally fine. And in those moments, I think it's nice to do a bit of centering, breathing, connecting with yourself, doing a few warm-up movements, and then maybe something similar to a sun salute, where you're having those gentle movements, you're moving your body, following your breath, and then some cool down movements in a Shavasana. Being very mindful, the middle chunk where you're doing standing, inversion, arm balance, back bends, all of that is very intentional in the movements of your spine, but you can have a nice shorter yoga practice in just doing warm-ups, a little bit of movement, and then some restorative poses at the end too. So this is a guideline for you to start and, begin your exploration of creating your own practices at home. Please let me know if you have any questions. I would love to guide you further in this. I'm always here for you. Enjoy your home yoga practice.